Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing on this Monday morning? A late Monday morning here. This is Reganelite. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope you guys are all doing well. It isn't 8 a.m. No, it's 11 a.m. a couple of hours earlier. What's going on for some people? Well, I'll explain in just a moment. Welcome to Good Morning Reganelite here on the 28th of July at 11 a.m. UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. Just a reminder, if you're on either platforms, if on YouTube, if you can hit that like button, we greatly appreciate. Share this and subscribe. Please consider subscribe and support the channel. If you're on Twitch, if you can, please feel free to hit the follow button there and hit the bell notification icon so you'll be notified when I go live. Also, it's the same for here on YouTube. If you have, there's a bell notification icon. Doesn't always work. Sometimes you might have it switched on. If you turn it off and turn it back on, that usually resets the notifications for it, just for you guys, just so you know in the future there. So for those who weren't aware, I announced last week, late last week, that I'll be moving the Good Morning shows from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. I know some of you guys are literally just coming over from Dave Against and the Two Davies. I was lurking in the chat there all the way up to the end. But this is what I'm going to be trying to see how this does for the whole week. So really appreciate you guys all coming in. Hope you guys enjoyed the show from Dave McGuinness, and obviously do check out their show, the Two Davies show, later on at 4 o'clock if they can. That'd be greatly appreciated. Good morning, Ellie. Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Witchy Goth, good to see you there. Witchy, hope you are doing well, guys. Make sure you check out Witchy Goth's YouTube channel. So she does some great stuff on there. Really good stuff there as well. Nabunk33, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. One of our moderators, Stephen Banker, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Alston Keir, good to see you, buddy. Hope you are doing well as well. Anybody else who may be lurking in the chats there. So just for those who don't know, who are new here, normally what we do is we do the daily quota. We'll have a look at the weather forecast and then we'll have a look at see what the media is actually saying in not so much papers, but we go to the actual websites and see what the websites are saying in stories. They're a bit interesting, obviously, because we're looking at them at 11 in the morning instead of 8 a.m. in the morning. So some stories will have changed since then. So we'll start off with today's daily quota. So as you guys, if you follow me on social medias, you know I drop these all over my social medias, including on the Discord community. Here it is here, guys. Today's one, just to show that I don't make them up, that they do come from the daily quota. And this one, as you can see, is from Kurt Cobain. And it says, wanting to be someone else is a waste of who you are. Wanting to be someone else is a waste of who you are. That's a very nice one there from Kurt there for the 28th. Tomorrow's one from Desmond Tutu is actually a really powerful one, actually, and you'll just have to wait till tomorrow. Sorry, that's how it works. If you want to know the next day's one, you guys are gonna have to check it out there. Unfortunately, sorry, that's just how it is, guys. That is just how it is. Graham Essen, good to see you there. Good morning. Hope you are doing well there as well. Is there anybody else I haven't said hello to? I think that's everyone here. Shall we have a look at some of the weather? Right, I'm going to run through quickly the London weather, and then we'll look at the weather forecast for the rest of the UK, guys. So currently, right now in London, it is currently 20 degrees. Cloudy is expected all day. Tiny bits of forecast of sunshine, but nothing too much. Went out for my walk this morning. Wasn't too bad temperature-wise as well. Temperature is expected to reach as high as 24 degrees today. That's the highest temperature is expected to reach. Tomorrow in London, Tuesday, cloudy all day with expected temperatures to reach as high as 22 degrees. Wednesday, cloudy all day with expected to reach 23 degrees. Thursday, 45% chance forecast of rain. Temperatures reaching the high as 23 degrees. Friday, 45% chance forecast of rain. Temperature has reached as high as 21 degrees. Saturday, 30% chance of rain. Temperatures at 22 degrees. Sunday, cloudy all day. Temperatures reach as high as 23 degrees. So it is still going to be warm throughout the week in London. But it's basically cloudy all day with a couple of days there's chances of some showers, but nothing too big there, according to the local weather app here. So, shall we have a look and see what the BBC weather app, the BBC weather is saying, guys? So let's switch. We're going to go to 1 o'clock in the afternoon today, and we'll have a look and see what the forecasts are saying here. Wait for the temperatures to come in. There we go. We've already done London, 22, 21 degrees in some parts. You can see some spots of showers around here and there, guys. So there are some tiny bits of showers that you may hit. You may find if you are in the south of England, there, 21 degrees there. Down in the Exeter, Devon area, southwest of England here, the 19 degrees temperatures there. A couple of bits and bobs of showers there as well. South of Wales here, the temperatures at 20, 21, 20 there respectively there. Again, bits of bobs of showers, but temperatures are not too bad. Oh, where's the temperatures? Where's the temperatures gone? What's happened? Can I have my temperatures back, please? Oh, what's going on with the weather app? It's taken the weather away. That's a bit odd. Don't know why it's done that. Oh, that's a bit silly. Hello? You're there. Oh, you're not there. Okay. So apparently I've got to zoom in even closer, apparently. That's a bit annoying. Okay. Going into my stride here. Right, north of Wales, 17 degrees there with some spots of showers here. Liverpool in the north into the Midlands, into the north of England at 19, 18 degrees respectively. Remember, this is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday time here. Salford, Lichfield, so a couple of showers here and there, 20, 21 degrees respectively there. Move a bit up on the east side of England, the northeast side of England, whole there, 21 degrees there. Temperature's not too bad. The bits and bobs of showers still scattered around here. But as we head further into the north of England, into the south of Scotland here, you can see temperatures at 1 o'clock reaching 17, 19 degrees. Not too bad there. A couple of bits and bobs of showers here and there around here as we move up into Scotland there. Dunbar, 18 degrees. Edinburgh, 18. Dunfermline, 17. I'm going to mispronounce some names, so if I do, I apologise. Stirling, 17. Glasgow, 17 there. Brodick 15, 16 respectively. They've got some shower spots here on the west side of Scotland here. If we go a bit more further up, there's a bit more showers here, but temperatures 16 degrees in 1 o'clock in the afternoon here. Not too bad. Not too bad there, and lots of showers around there. A bit annoyed that it doesn't show me. Oh, there we go. It looks like it's fixed itself there. There we go. That's better. 17, 18. Dundee, 19 degrees there. Fort William, 16 degrees there. Stonehaven, 17 there. So there is some dotted of showers around Scotland there. So just obviously always recommend just take a brolly out just in case, guys. Take a brolly out is I recommend there. If we go to Tuesday, let's have a quick look at Tuesday and see what temperatures are forecast there. I will come to those in a moment, Alistair. Just bear with me, my friend. I will come to those gifted memberships and super chats. Let me just finish the weather forecast here. As you can see, temperatures are dropped, much dropped compared to yesterday. Today, You can see there, but there's a bit more showers forecast around here. While it doesn't say there's rain forecast to drop tomorrow, it is possible that it can still hit London there. But you can see there 19, 17, 18. This is Tuesday afternoon here. Temperatures we've got round here. Southwest of England there, 19, 20 degrees there. South of Wales there, 20, 21 degrees there. A couple of showers in and around Wales as well. As well as some bits there in the north of Wales there. We can see there in some of the Midlands and the Midlands here. We got temperatures. Why does it keep doing that? I don't know why. Bit weird. It keeps playing up the temperature thing. I don't know what's wrong with it there. But still wearing some rain and forecast in and about here. Manchester around 17 degrees is what is forecasting here. So bits of dots of showers here and there. 18, 19 degrees in some places there. So we move from the south of England to the north, to the north of England to the south of Scotland. Excuse me. There, temperatures 17, 18, 17, 18. Edinburgh, Glasgow, 17, 18 respectively. Oldham 16 there on the left. Dundee 17 on the right there. So we go a bit more further up. Doesn't look like too many forecasting of showers there, so no, it doesn't look like you're going to get much showers from the looks of it there. Temperatures not too bad up there in the Highlands there. And can we just have a quick gander? Let's just have a quick gander on Wednesday here. Quick gander on Wednesday afternoon here. 22, 22, 19 degrees. So Belfast, Dublin, 19 degrees there. Edinburgh, 19 degrees there. Let's just have a quick look at some of the temperatures here. Doesn't look like any forecast of rain that is expected on Wednesday, but obviously that can change because the temperatures, just because there's no rain forecast, it looks like now, doesn't mean that there won't be some later on, because there is always a chance that they update these daily, the weather patterns, because obviously weather patterns don't always go exactly how they are meant to be there, but the temperatures don't look too bad as well. Yeah, so I would say overall this week, guys, we're not getting the temperatures that not getting the temperatures that we've had a couple of weeks ago, like the 30 degrees that we've had in some parts. We're not getting that this week, but it's still going to be above 20 degrees in some parts, so it will still be warm to a certain extent there, guys. So just give me 1 second while I just run through. So first of all, Alison Keir, thank you so much for being a member for 19 months. I really, really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And for the £2 super chat just to get the goal started, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Mixed weather, sunshine, cloud, and a bit muggy, says Mithril. Good morning, Mithril. Good to see you there. I hope you are doing well. Yeah, it is a bit like that, isn't it, to be fair? Thank you, Alison, for the 10 gifted memberships there. David Gerardo, Unquiet Badger, Leapskin, Satu Hoshi, Puri, Vendetta, Wake Up and Smell the Rosemary's, Ben Shaw, Chatty Rat, Jim Stevens, and Jan Koffel have all been gifted memberships by very generous of Alison here of today. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate it. Very, very generous, my friend. Dumfirmlim, says Alison here. Dumfirmlim. Brolly, I wear I felt fuller, says Mithril. Yeah, you don't always have to wear a brolly. It's still really humid here in northeast Derbyshire, so glad I got myself a rechargeable handheld fan, says what you got. Well, I've got the fan on next to me as well. Tap still off, weather in Scotland still mucky still. Yeah, it's still going to be a bit mucky. Yeah, that humidity, it's the humidity more than anything that really gets to us, isn't it? More than anything, guys. I think that's fair to say there in terms of the weather. Right, let's go straight into see what some of the news is saying, guys. We'll start with The Guardian here and get rid of that. And I'll start with a talk with Gaza and trade talks with Trump as minister suggests reconciliation of Palestine will happen. This Parliament, UK politics is live. Well, is it? That's the question, guys. Is it? And here's the thing, right? So France is the first G7 nation to is formally going to recognise Palestine as a state. But is that going to change anything? I don't know. I don't think so. Is the UK recognise Palestine as a state going to change anything? No, I don't think it will. Now, I don't know how many people have been paying attention, but it looks like that Israel are starting, quote unquote, starting to let a bit more aid into the Gaza Strip. They've been allowing airdrops to drop into Gaza, and it looks like they've been allowing a few more trucks to go in as well. I think this is a sign to appease the West, appease some aspects of the media. I don't think this is a case of Israel U-turning completely. It is a sign of perhaps maybe the starvation may slow down. I'm not going to say stop because that's definitely not what's happening right now, but it may slow down. But unfortunately, obviously, airdropping food into Gaza is obviously very it's not very good, because obviously we've seen I saw recent footage of basically people scrambling just to get their hands on food. You know, people fighting amongst one another to get their hands on flour and whatnot. It's really deplorable what's happening there. Whether or not I don't know what Starmer's going to say to Trump, but if anyone can push the needle on Israel in anything, it is the United States. But whether or not they'll be able to push Trump in any way would be interesting. So, PM to meet US President in Scotland, as Jonathan Reynolds said, it's a case of when, not if, UK recognises Palestine state. So, Reynolds rejects Benjamin Netanyahu claim reconciliation of Palestine statehood would reward Hamas terrorism. That's nonsense. I think we can all agree with that. Business Secretary Jonathan Reynolds said he does not expect a Trump-Starmer talks to lead to a trade announcement today. UK is stuck in a debt doom loop, says top investor. Yeah, that's because they're not doing anything to deal with the cost. They're not doing enough to deal with the cost of living crisis. That's why. Starmer to meet, and that was 2 hours ago. What's the latest one then? Nigel Farage, former leader, is holding a press conference now. There's a live feed here. We do not need to look at that. Post some of the main points here. Right, so Nigel Farage is having a press conference because he wants to steal the spotlight, of course. Keir Starmer's plane landed Paris airport outside Glasgow. The BBC is reporting that means he should be at the Turnberry within the hour. So in the next couple of hours, he'll be meeting with the Prime Minister there. Yeah, they had a huge amount of security around, of course, for Donald Trump there. I mean, I'm sorry to my Scottish friends who have to put up with Donald Trump right now, but don't worry, he's going to be our problem soon anyway in England. But yeah, it's frustrating to say the least there. So yeah, UK stuck in a debt doom loop. Hedge fund chief Dave Rolligo warns over public finances, saying Britain will be forced into spending cuts and rising taxes here. So one of the world's most prominent hedge fund investors, Ray Dalio, has warned that the UK is stuck in a doom loop as it faces worrying mix of higher taxes, raising debt and slower growth. Dalio, a US billionaire who founded the hedge fund Bridgewater Associates in 1975, said warning signs over the size of debts in Western countries will begin to flash and flicker, but that the UK government's efforts to raise more funds via taxes was driving the wealthiest taxpayers out of the country. So this is one of those. Rich guys who are basically telling us, don't tax the rich, guys, because if you tax us, please don't tax the rich, because if you tax us, then we'll have to go and take our money elsewhere. We don't want to pay more taxes than we should do. They're just basically afraid to pay more taxes. Is essentially what he's basically saying here. All right, and this is a US billionaire here. Just trying to say don't tax the wealthy. They're trying really hard. It's him and loads of other people are trying really, really hard to fight against Gary economics and the argument of not taxing the wealthiest more. And it's a logic that, and it's a slogan that taxing the rich makes logical sense when they have all the money, and the people and the middle class and the lower class don't have as much money as they do. It's asking them to pay a bit more does not hurt to do so. Thank you, Alison Keir, for those 3 separate £2 super chats there. Much appreciated there. Thank you so much. And Maury Starmer will sign a deal to get all sorts of American food, which is dreadful safety standards in. I don't know if he's going to allow food safety standards to drop, Mithril. We'll have to wait and see. I hope you're wrong about that. I hope they don't reduce our food standards, especially when we're trying to achieve closer ties to Europe, because we want to have closer ties to Europe there. I would have thought that'd be more the case there. Why would be a hedge fund manager of all his profits bank overseas, says Mithril? I don't know. What the thing is that annoys me is that why would the Guardian post a story like this? This is the thing. Like, I could understand if this was in the Financial Times, but yeah, a US billionaire basically saying don't tax the rich in the UK, and it's just like, well, screw you. You know, it's my response to that. Thank you, Alison Keir, for another £2 super chat. Thank you for your support for the Democratic Penguins Republic. Much appreciated. So the UK gambling industry is launching summer charm offensive to head off tax rises. Lobbyists to meet with ministers to host a draft night with Labour advisors and MP staff. The gambling lobbyists are staging a summer charm offensive designed to stop ministers from raising taxes on the sector, The Guardian has learned, including meeting with Treasury insiders and hosting a darts evening with Labour special advisors and MP staff. Desperate to not pay more taxes, basically, is what they're trying to do here. Treasury is considering whether to simplify the various rates of duty applied to gambling products, a measure that the £11.5 billion a year sector fears would increase its overall tax bill. Betting and Gambling Council, whose members include high street bookmakers and online casinos, is understood to have outlined its objections in a submission to the Treasury based on reports written for the trade body by the accounting from the firm EY. But the BGC has also embarked on a back-channel lobbying push, according to emails sent to its members and seen by The Guardian. In at least one case, a social event was promoted by Labour staff directly by the Labour Staff Network, the LSM, offering them the opportunity to attend and hear speeches. The event was a dart-themed evening hosted by BGC and Flutter PLC, Jonah, Paddy Power, Betfair and Sky Bet. An event that the trade body said would help it continue building constructive engagement across Westminster. This is them basically trying to, not directly bribe, but trying to soothe any kinds of, try to soothe over the Labour government and its ministers and those within it to not ask the gambling industry to basically pay more. Which I would say, screw you, pay them, make them pay more taxes. Yeah, I have no problem with the gambling industry paying more taxes. They destroy enough people's lives. Yes, the gambling industry obviously is good, and it's good from an entertainment point of view. People like to gamble and all that kind of stuff. But there's that sinister side when you hear some of the stories that people go through. And that's not just from celebrities. There's lots of ordinary people whose lives are completely destroyed that you don't hear about from the gambling industry. I have no problem with them paying more for it. Guardian's gone downhill lately. I remember that hysteria over Corbyn. Yeah, I have had. There's been a lot of criticism towards the Guardian. Let's have a look at another one here. 0-hour contracts. Peers accused of trying to block stronger US workers' rights. They're claiming. Laws doing a bidding of bad bosses, says TUC, amid growing campaigns by business leaders to water down Labour's plans. Conservative and Liberal Democrat peers have been accused of trying to block stronger rights for millions of workers amid a growing campaign by business leaders to water down Labour's 0-hour contract plans. So in the blow for the government, the Lords last week voted to curtail the manifesto promise to give workers a right to a guaranteed hours contract and a one-day protections against unfair dismissal. Setting up a showdown with the upper chamber, the Lords passed a series of amendments to the Employment Rights Bill that must be addressed by ministers when MPs return from their summer break. In an angry intervention on Monday, the General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress, Paul Newark, said that the Lords was doing the bidding of bad bosses and not to get out of the way of the plans. The sight of Heritage peers voting to block stronger working rights belongs in another country. It's just plain wrong, he says. Under the Lords amendments, a requirement for employers to offer 0-hour workers a contract covering a guaranteed number of hours would be shifted to place the onus on staff to ask for such an arrangement. Yeah, this is I don't like that. No, the employers need to tell their employees that it needs to be fixed, that the employers need to say to them that I'm against 0-hour contracts. I know there are some jobs out there that are beneficial for 0-hour contracts because of some of the kind of the gig economy. I think it's what they call it, the gig economy out there. So I understand from that perspective there, but I do think that there should always be, the employer should always offer a fixed set of hours to employees in any job or aspect. There should always be that hey, if you want a guaranteed set amount of hours, in your contract, we can offer that a week, then we should do that. So I think that's what should be there. Protections against unfair dismissal from the first day of employment, in which the government plans to reduce from the current levels of 2 years, would be extended to 6 months, and changes for up to free up trade unions would be curtailed there as well. Yeah, I really am against 0 hours, but I know there's some job aspects some people do like it in some parts, but it just feels like there's way too many legal loopholes here for it there. Benjamin, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. West Streeting thought he had struck a deal to halt a strike by doctors. Well, he obviously didn't. Let's have a look at the front page of the UK here. What else they got here? Man carrying home his garden tools arrested by armed police in Manchester. What? Samuel Rao, who was returning from atonement seeking to overturn caution for possession of an offensive weapon. So a man who was returned home from his atonement with a trudge of vegetables and gardening tools strapped to his belt was arrested by armed police after a member of the public said he had seen a man wearing Kahali clothing and in possession of a knife. Samuel Rowe, 35, who works as a technical manager at a theatre, had come back from his atonement in Manchester earlier this month to decide to trim his hedges with one of his tools, a Japanese garden sickle, when police turned up on his doorstep. I just heard shouting behind me and then two armed officers shouting at me to drop the knife, he said. Then they turned me around, pushing me against my house, cuffed me, and then they arrested me, put me in the back of the van. His tools he had on his belt, he said, were a Nikkei Horo gardening trowel in the canvas sheath and an ice bear Japanese garden sickle. When he was arrested, Rao said the officer pulled the trowel out of his sheath and said, "This is not a garden tool." I said it is because it is in the Nicaraguan brownie pouch that you get at the garden centre, Rao said. He was then taken to the police station in question. They started asking questions like if I was autistic or anything like that. They were asking me whether I had been in the army, whether I had told people I was in the army, they said. I was obviously in shock. I was struggling to think straight, struggling to talk proper because I was pretty scared. I was answering the questions honestly, whatever they asked me, because I haven't done anything wrong in my mind. Now, so police had questioned him on whether he was planning on doing something with the tools, which he said he also asked to explain what an atonement was. I had to explain the very basic terms of what atonement is to this guy, he said. So it didn't fill me with a lot of confidence that I was going to be let off. Kept explaining that they were gardening tools. Now the blades were on show, Rao added. I said, I don't leave my tools in my atonement because it's not secure. People can break into my atonements and easily get into your shed in 5 minutes. They were just consistently not listening. Rao said he was interviewed without legal representation that officers had been unable to reach the solicitor after spending several hours in custody. He said that he accepted a caution and would be released. I was trying to be overly polite in the police station. I was trying to integrate myself with them in a way because I felt like my future was in their hands, basically, he said. It was not up to them whether they decided I was committing a crime or not. This is a big problem here. How can he be allowed? How can they be put in this situation here? He should be entitled to legal representation. This is a British citizen here. Around 12:20 p.m. on 3rd of July, we acted from a call with a member of the public that a man was walking around wearing a Kahali clothing and in possession of a knife. Nearby officers were flagged by the caller, who directed them towards a male. He was subsequently stopped by a small skiff or large dagger. He was arrested on suspicion of possession of an offensive weapon and taken into custody. He admitted offence, given a conditional caution. What offence did he do? He entailed advice on guidance, legislation, and knives and blades weapons around the public place. I was now seeking legal representation to try and challenge his arrest. And he's cautioned, he's worried it will affect his future employment as part of his job involves working with vulnerable adults. I've got to ask this question, guys. Like, was he like walking in the streets with these garden tools, or was he in the garden using them? This is the thing. Like, because this just seems absolutely daft here. I'm looking at him here and I'm thinking, like, what? It just seems like a really daft thing. Like, he can't, like I can understand, like, here's the part of me, right? If you're out walking along the streets, right, and you have the look of a gardener, right, and you've got garden tools around you and whatnot, and one of them's a really sharp blade, I can understand the concerns that a member of the public would have. Yeah. Like, if you have them, like, locked away, these kind of tools locked away, invisible to the naked eye, you'll probably be fine. But it just seems like to me someone obviously thought that this person was going to be a threat, and it's just a gardener and his gardening tools. Community leaders can help curb false claims online after attacks in UK, says researcher. No, we need social media to manage false claims instead. But they're not doing enough on it. Climate inflation could push up UK food prices by more than a third by 2050, report says. I agree with that. I think that's going to happen. Trump and von der Leyen announced US-EU trade deal. Covered that in a short video. UK jail escape trial reignites debate over indefinite sentences there. There will be a lot of jobs where police officers usually give you a bit of leeway. Well, in Scotland they do. They should be giving leeway. But what's the thing is, he was taken into custody, right? and he wasn't even given legal representation. Like they didn't even give a chance to hear his side of the story. Like they just assumed that he was going to be trouble. No shops and no schools. Homes in England built without basic. Oh, for feck's sake! Thousands of people going up. Thousands of properties going up without no access to playgrounds, community infrastructure, and even doctors. Criminy. Well, those are some of the stories from Guardian there. We covered quite a bit of the Guardian. Let's have a look at Sky News and see what they're saying here. That will be a knife. That's the problem. Yeah, the knife is the problem. Like having like a Japanese knife, and even if it's just for gardening, like it's still a dangerous weapon. Like it's still a dangerous weapon, you know. It's still a dangerous weapon, even though like your intentions are perfectly innocent, you know. UK hopes to recognise Palestine state in this parliament, says Cabinet Minister. PM the whole talks with Trump today. We'll have to walk a fine diplomatic line. We'll find out later today. Heathrow funded a group sending incredible misleading email to homes across West London, campaigns alleges. Backed Heathrow is funded by the airport and is headed by former minister and member of Labour's Policy Forum, but the funding is not disclosed to Back Heathrow's newsletter or website. A campaign group for a third runway at Heathrow that gets funding from the airport has been distributing incredibly misleading information into households in West London, according to opponents of the expansion. The group called Back Heathrow sent leaflets to people living near the airport claiming expansion could be the route to a greener airport and suggesting it would mean only the cleanest and quietest aircraft fly there. What? What? Third airport. Guys, having a third runway, will lead to cleaner and quieter air. And it'll be greener. I'm just having a struggle. Like, I'm struggling to accept that. Okay. It comes as as the airport prepares to submit its plan application for a third runway ahead of the July 31st deadline, following the government's statement of support for the expansion. Back Heathrow calls itself a local campaign group with over 100,000 residents, but it does not mention the funding it receives from the airport in the newsletter. This is bollocks. They does not mention the funding. They're obviously being funded by the airports. They're obviously secretly getting funded by those who are supporters of the third runway. Clearly. Like 100,000 residents? Like, really? Are they really residents in the area? Its website does not mention the current financial support and says it initially launched with funding from Heathrow Airport, but how we have since grown. Okay, sure. Back to Heathrow also told Sky News it's always been open about the support it receives from the airport. Oh, okay, then you'll tell us where you get your funding from then. You'll say where your funding is from, right? At the bottom of every web page, the organisation said that Back Heathrow is a group of residents, businesses and community groups that have come together to defend its jobs that rely on Heathrow and to campaign to secure its future. Heathrow Airport said it's always been clear about funding Back Heathrow, but will not disclose how much it provides. So yeah, there you go. They're just literally giving it away here. They've literally taken it away here. So who is Back Heathrow? The group executive director is a former Labour minister who was the MP for Gloucestershire in 2001-2010 and sits on the National Policy Forum. And responsible for developing Labour policy. The National Policy Forum. Its account of Back Heathrow shows it has 5 employees, including its 2 directors, in the financial year ending 30th of June 2024. The second director is John Braggins, a former campaign advisor to Tony Blair. Oh, what a surprise. The business has 244,961 in cash. The accounts show. Yeah, I wonder where they get that. I wonder where they get that money from, guys. Where could they possibly get that money from? Yeah, I think we've heard enough from there. What's you guys saying? So we're just gonna stop outside hardware shops after purchasing a knife. Stephen Banker says, "Yeah, I know. Where is the line? Like, here's the thing. Like, there's going to need to be a debate about this." Benjamin says, the playground thing surprised me that usually the one thing developers are happy to put in as they are cheap and good marketing. They are cheap and good marketing. Don't know what the issue is. Again, I might read that in a separate. I might do that one in a separate video. To be fair. Speaking of Green, I left the Labour Party and joined the Greens. First meeting this evening. Oh, lovely, Witchy Golf. Hope you have a very nice meeting. Very good. I hope it goes very well. Well, obviously, welcome to the. I would say welcome to the Green Party, but I'm not a Green Party member. But I hope you find it interesting for sure. I know I've had some people actually bugging me to join either the Green Party or the new Left Party under Corbyn and Sultana, but I'm still going to kind of wait and see. I don't want to jump on the bandwagon just yet, on them just yet, guys. Over 200 MPs signed cross-party letter demanding Starmer recognise Palestine as a state. That was 2 days ago. Ooh, 200 MPs. That's a lot. That's a lot of MPs. 200. I mean, obviously, it's still, yeah, 200 MPs. That is also organised by Labour backbencher Sarah Champion, also sits at International Development Committee chair. But that is, that's good. But, yeah, 25% of young people now malnutrition in Gaza, charity says. That was 2 days ago as well. I don't want to show those pictures. It just makes me sick to my stomach. Could be talking hard about it for a while. Lioness headed home after successfully defending their title. Yep, congratulations to the Lioness England team. Successfully retaining the Euros. Fantastic for them. Not a football fan myself, but I'm very happy for them. Really, I do. Terror probe as man arrested after shouting Aku Akbar at death to Trump on a flight. What? This is what Damon. I believe this is what Damon Gibbs was talking about on his paper review. Police Scotland said videos circulating online are being assessed by counter-terrorism officers. It comes to US President Donald Trump's currently enjoying a private visit in Scotland. A man has been arrested over disturbance on board on EasyJet flight to Scotland. The suspect was removed from the aircraft in which he was travelled from London Luton Airport after he touched down at Glasgow Airport about 8:20 on Sunday. Footage is circulating online which appears to show a man on the plane shouting about a bomb along with death to America, death to Trump and Aku Akbar, an Arabic phrase that means God is greater. The man was then tackled to the ground, pinned to the floor in the aircraft by two men. Police Scotland said the 41-year-old man was arrested and remains in custody. The full inquiries are continuing, with the spokesperson adding at this time we believe the incident was contained and that nobody else was involved. We are aware of videos circulating online and those are being assessed by counter-terrorism officers. Were removed from the airport due to their behaviour on board. EasyJet crew trained to assess all situations, act quickly to appropriately to ensure safety of all parties. Safety and well-being of our customers is the highest priority. What the hell's wrong with this moron? Like, seriously, what an absolute effing moron. Seriously. I just don't know what the goal was here. And especially doing it on a plane that as well. Like, this is just absolutely stupid. I'm glad his bomb didn't go off. You know, I haven't seen any footage. I'm just glad that everybody's safe. Very, very scary indeed. Wichigov says, I don't think the new Corbyn party will go anywhere. I like Zach Palensky. I like Zach Palensky too. We have to also bear in mind, though, it is early days, and 500,000 people have signed up to that new party, which is why I'm generally curious. I'm generally curious to see how the party develops. You know, they didn't start very well because they haven't been clear about what the name of the party is as well, which is a bit embarrassing. Just for reference, guys, we're only going as far as 12 o'clock. Yeah, we only do an hour on the show, guys. So if you guys are wondering how long we're going to be, we're only going to be as long as 12 o'clock, guys. Damon McGuinness did a bit about that Reganelite. The guy got a stomping. Yeah, he did talk a bit about that there. But no, obviously not everyone who's here obviously was watching the 2 Davies show this morning. There. Doctor surgery is all well and good anyway, but it's hard to find doctors, says Benjamin. You usually try and wiggle out the high roads and use your big ticket items in the S106 rather than the playground, says Benjamin. Yeah, I feel for people obviously who struggle to get the doctors. I really, really do. So I booked my before we carry on, guys, in case you're wondering, I have booked my next blood donation, which is not until early November. Got it marked on the calendar. Still hasn't cleared up here because this is where there's still bits. You can still see bits of smudges there from it. But yeah, my next one's not till November. It's actually at the same place as well, which is also pretty nice as well. So. So I'll remind you guys closer to the time when it comes to the blood donation. So BBC News, I'm hoping to do a full bag this time. You know, I'm hoping to do a full bag of blood this time. Next time I do it. BBC News here under politics. Starmer discussed Gaza with Trump at Scotland talks. Like, I'm not taking Keir Starmer seriously on Gaza. I'm just not taking anything from him seriously. Because he won't criticise Israel, so why should I take anything seriously from him? And none of you guys should take anything serious from Starmart on it either. Enough has been said about it anyway. Nurses to overwhelmingly reject pay deal as strike vote looms. Oh, did not see this. The nurses are expected to reject their pay awards in England this week, raising the possibility of strikes later this year, the BBC understands. The Royal College of Nursing has been holding a consultation vote on their 3.6% pay rise, previously describing it as grotesque to award nurses a lower increase than doctors, teachers, prison officers and the armed forces. It will announce the results later this week, but the BBC understands it will show an overwhelming rejection of the deal. Government says there has only been 2 above inflation pay rises already, urging RCN members to accept the pay reward. Any decision on formal strikes would not be made until later in the year. In May, the government accepted the pay body review's recommendation of 3.5% rise for nurses this year. These pay body review recommendations, they're literally owned by the government, for crying out loud. The turnout is expected to be well over 50% threshold needed for industrial action. The unions will demand ministers negotiate over the summer to avoid a formal strike ballot for strike action in the autumn. The RCN is understood to be open for talks on wider pay structures, not just headline pay. Union spokesperson said the result will be announcing to our members later this week as part of our larger part of our NHS workforce. Nurses staff do not feel valued and that the government must urgently begin to turn that around. The Department of Health and Social Care spokesperson said new full-time nurses will receive $30,000 in basic pay for the first time this year following previous pay rises. They continue that the government is clear we can't move any further on the headline pay, but we will work with the RCN to improve their major concerns, including pay structure reform, concerns on career progression and wider working conditions. So this is basically the health secretary and the government basically saying we're not giving you any more pay, basically here. And yeah. On Friday, GMB unions representing thousands of workers, including ambulance crew, rejected the government's pay deal in initial consultative votes. GMB said its members voted by 67% against the 3.6 pay percent award in 2025-2026 in England. The union has written to West Street and calling for an urgent meeting to discuss pay and other issues. So we could have more strikes coming. More strikes coming, guys. Tories would ban strike by NHS doctors, said Kemi Baganotte. I've done a short video on that, so I'm not going to talk about that one. Plans for pubs to get greater protections from noise complaints. I want to protect pubs, but I do feel like people who live in noisy areas should have noise suppression windows and whatnot to be able to protect themselves from the noise. So pubs and music venues could benefit from fewer noise complaints under proposed changes to planning and licensing rules. So under the reforms, developers are seeking to build new properties near existing venues and would be told to soundproof buildings, while permissions would be fast-tracked for new businesses and Alfredo dining in dedicated areas. Government hopes the changes in England and Wales will make it easier to open new bars in disused shops, promote outdoor drinking and dining, and reverse the decline in the pub industry. Labour says the changes will bring the vibrancy to struggling towns, but the Conservative says tax policy was responsible for crippling the hospitality industry. Yeah, and who messed about with the tax policy, Conservatives? Answers on a postcard. Speaking on BBC Breakfast, the Exchequer Secretary to the Treasury, James Murray, said that Labour was committed to removing some of the red tape that prevented new cafes, pubs and music venues from opening. Murray said there's too much bureaucracy staying in the way of economic growth, but also accepted that the government's decisions to raise national insurance and increase the minimum wage had consequences for businesses. Yeah, no shit. That would have been. Sorry for the language. The British Beer and Pub Association said the number of pubs in the UK has steadily decreased every year since 2000, estimated that 378 pubs will close in 2025 across England, Wales and Scotland, amounting to more than 5,600 direct job losses. Yeah, people just don't... There is a society problem where more people are spending online rather than going to the pubs. I mean, like, noise-proofing pubs I think is helpful, but my solution has always been, when it comes to getting more people in the pubs, getting more people out and about, is it's much easier for people, it's much cheaper if people just buy a bunch of beer cans in the supermarket and have a drink at someone's house instead of basically having it down at the pub, because the pubs are too expensive. The cost of beer at a pub is too expensive. It's much cheaper to buy in the supermarkets, and that for me is one of the biggest problems. That for me is the biggest crux there. Alcohol should be super expensive in supermarkets, and should be super cheap in pubs and bars and restaurants, because it forces people to go out and socialize instead of staying at home. That's what should be done. And I don't care if it hurts the economy. It's better from a social point of view for the British public there. Oh, well, in terms of economic point of view, it would prevent a lot of pubs shutting down as well, because what's happening is that as new generations come along, not many of them are going to the pubs. Some are, but the older generations still go to the pubs, but the younger generations are not going as much to pubs and bars. There are still people who still do that. There's always going to be those groups out there, but it's not as numbers are not as high as it used to be. That's definitely for sure. UK working to get aid dropped into Gaza, Starmer says. UK condemns Hong Kong cash for help in arresting activists. Asylum seekers refusing to leave hotels risks homelessness. A single male asylum seeker who refuses to move out of the hotel into single suitable alternative accommodation will risk becoming homeless, the Home Office has said. The government, who is legally obliged to house destitute asylum seekers, said the new failure to travel guidance will establish clear consequences for those who game the system. According to Home Office sources, hundreds of migrants are refusing to transfer from hotels to other form of accommodation every week. It comes as the government is coming under pressure to reduce the number of hotels being used for asylum accommodation. This past week has been a series of demonstrations in Epping, close to a hotel housing asylum seekers. Ministers said the government wants to end the use of hotels for housing asylum seekers and has been trying to move people into cheaper types of accommodation. The number of hotels have been increasing since 2020 and reached a peak of more than 50,000 in 2023. In March 2025, the asylum hotel population stood at 32,345. Home Office caseworker and asylum accommodation providers stated that some asylum seekers' failure to travel to appropriate accommodation undermines the overall efficiency of the support asylum system. Look, I really have to be blunt here. This hotel needs to be closed. They need to be all taken out of here and moved away from here. I've said this already. Like, why have they? I'm sorry, but the Home Office should have moved these people out when all this was kicking off. They should have already started planning to move them somewhere else, because their safety, the police officers' safety, and protesters' safety are the most paramount. People's lives are at risk. Yeah, and nobody should have to be getting hurt. Nobody should be nobody should be finding themselves getting arrested or getting hurt. It's for their own safety. They need to be moved out of this hotel. Now, as for people who don't want to move for asylum seekers, I'm going to be really brutal here for asylum seekers who don't want to be moving out of hotels. Too fucking bad. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I understand the frustrations that I understand that they are going through. They've been through so much to come to the UK, and they're desperate to get their asylum claim approved so that they can work and contribute to society. I understand that, but you're a target. As long as you are in hotels, you're going to be painted as a target by the people on the far right, and it's much better if you are out of the hotels. And I'm sorry, these people have a problem with being in the hotels. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to have sympathy for them if they're not going to cooperate with the Home Office in this situation here. I get, yeah, that probably moving, they're going to be downgraded from the hotel into maybe into accommodation is probably not as nice as some of these hotels, but the government has an obligation to close hotels, has to reduce the numbers, and they need to find ways around this, the government. I don't want anyone being homeless as a result of it here. But the asylum seekers who are refusing are not helping their situation, and they're certainly not helping. They're not helping the situation whatsoever. And this kind of thing, this plays into the hands of the likes of GB News, the Reform Party, Nigel Farage, who keep saying that these are people who have getting all these goodies and whatnot. It's not helping whatsoever. You need to understand that they're not helping their own situation as well as the Home Office in this regard here. Human Rights Chief criticises UK Palestine action ban. Could Jeremy Corbyn's new party shake up politics? I think it's too early to say so right now. As porn sites apply new age checks, will users hand over personal ID ? Fourth thing you need to know about the UK-India trade deal. Some of those are quite old there. Let's move on, guys, because there's a couple of other websites to have a look to here. Billy Kershaw says, bugger off, Regan. I don't want to get drunk with a load of idiots. Oh, sorry, Billy, but you need to. It's for you need to get out the house, like get out the house and get into that pub and talk to your fellow British, English, or whoever are in the pubs with you. Good to see you, Billy. Hope you're doing well. Anybody else I haven't said hello to lurking in the chat? I support the English NHS. I support all NHS, not just English. All NHS is. Let's have a look at the Independent here. Trump and Starmer set to discuss tariffs and Gaza in Scotland talks. Jeremy Corbyn's more popular among younger voters than Keir Starmer. I wonder if Jeremy Corbyn's more popular than Zach Polanski right now. Probably is, actually, among younger people. Number of acts as European music festival plummets since Brexit. Well, what do you expect? Tasers to be issued to staff in male prisons in government crackdown. That can backfire. That can backfire. Starmer to recall cabinet from summer break for emergency Gaza meeting. Stephen Flynn jokes that he'll be washing hair when Trump visits the UK. He'll be washing his hair. I didn't realise he had hair there. I didn't realise Stephen's got hair there. Starmer to plea with Trump there. How do Starmer, Farage and Corbyn convince teenagers to vote for them? And then their numbers always are going to be much lower than the older demographics. Starmer urged to drop workers' rights pledge to prevent people dying. Trump supporters tell President don't trust Starmer as he golfs. Okay. I agree. I know it's going to be controversial. They need to make old army bases livable and use prefabs. It will be safer. As I said, it's controversial. Yeah, I 100% agree. It is controversial. For me, it's not just about the accommodation. It's just their safety and well-being as well. You know, for me, it's just as much about their safety and well-being. I get that the hotels are much comfortable for them. I totally understand that. I respect that. I really honestly respect that opinion. But you need to understand your asylum claim hasn't been accepted. And if you're going to be problematic, your chances are your asylum claim is going to be rejected if you're going to be problematic. You know, in this instance, they need to be more cooperative here. Teenager 18 had 3/4 of skill ripped off, of Scout ripped off. Funfair right? Oh my God, I don't even want to read that. I do not want to read that. Williams and Charlotte speak for the nation after England's Euro victory. Jubilance, princess celebrations. Why is Trump visiting the UK? Yeah, why is he visiting the UK? He shouldn't be here. Why is he in Scotland? He shouldn't be in Scotland. Shouldn't be anywhere near us. Outrageous Jewish chameleons Edinburgh show cancelled over staff safety concerns. Popular calls on Israel's to protect their own army. Okay. The crystal sky blue bird is taking Bromley by storm. That's not a real bird. I was a sponsor anyway. Reform recruits former senior detective and police as crime advisor. Okay, sure. Right, let's run through this. Got about 9 minutes left, guys. As I said, I'm going to stop at 12 o'clock here. Just in case people are new here. Why on earth has the iPaper got all this crap on there? I have no idea. Man United TV on Sky. Okay, sure. For all you football fans, you must be absolutely delighted. Oh, wait, I'm not a football fan. COVID vaccine pandemic stockpile running low with 375 million worth of new jabs needed, according to exclusive from them. Demand for the jabs through the NHS and privately pharmacies have remained steady since the end of the pandemic. If it was free, I would actually take the jab, but it's not. So I'm not gonna get the jab there. I'm just not gonna get the jab if it's not free. Like, I'm sorry. I understand older people still want to I understand if you're older and the benefits of taking it. Back my peace plan for Gaza, Starmer urged Donald Trump. Exclusive says Labour no longer best place to stop reform winning in Wales, says Plaid Cymru leader. That's 100% true. If you are in Wales, your best vote is to go with the Welsh Plaid Cymru there at this point. Labour have ran well past their sell by date of being in charge of Wales. They need a new party in control of Wales. Corbyn Greens could put seats of Labour minister like Streeting at risk. Good. Kicks West Streeting out. I want him to see him lose his place. I lose money if I work over some of the parents taking unpaid leave for childcare. UK to drop aid into Gaza. Starmer calls starvation indefensible, but won't criticise Israel because he's a coward. Oh, sorry. Did I add that on top? Yeah, I did actually, guys. I did add that on top. That's all from the iNews there. I think it's worth not looking at. Let's have a look at the Financial Times, see what the Financial Times has. On the front of UK here under them, England Lionesses win the Euro 2025 on penalties. Wealth tax uncertainty creates anxiety and capital flight risks, advisors warns. Well, again, too bad. You guys need to pay a little bit more tax so that the poorest people are not struggling. A share of goods in UK exports falls to record level. Starmer to recall cabinet as calls grow for the UK to recognise Palestine state. VPN uses surge in UK as new online safety act kicks in. I'm considering getting VPN as well, because of the possibility that Wiki could get banned. It depends on the Wiki case. So for those who don't know, Wikipedia is in a legal battle with the UK government over it, because they're trying to suppress certain things in the Wiki, which the company says it's not going to prepared to do. So there's a legal battle over that. It's to do with the Online Safety Act. So there are some really bad things in the Online Safety Act, guys. There's really some bad stuff. Like, yeah, you know, I'm all for the age restriction stuff, but it's the other stuff in the Online Safety Act people are not talking about. Big UK companies are forced to reveal how long they take to pay suppliers. Zion to achieve, that's not really interested in that. Let's have a look at the homepage of the Financial Times. EU faces backlash from Germany and France over US trade deal. VPN surge online. Cambodia, Thailand agree to a ceasefire. Very good. Very good. Let's just drop that one. Russia, new low on Soviet-era arms as North Korea fills the gap. Share of goods in UK exports falls to a record low. I wonder why. Brexit. I seem to have mentioned the B word there. And Starmer to recall cabinet is growing calls for recognised Palestine state. Tax uncertainty. What else is there? Irish billionaire Paul Cousin strikes $300 million deal to walk away from. Okay, not interested personally. Samsung to supply Tesla with AI chips in $16.5 billion deal there. JP Morgan spooks fixed text there. Not really interested in that kind of stuff, me personally there, but that's the front page of the Financial Times there. Shall we have a look at the Times here, you guys? Just seeing what you guys are saying in the chat. Okay, cool stuff. This is the Times here. Am I on the right one? I am not on the right one. 1 second. Loop. Gotta make sure I'm on the right screen. I hate that image, but unfortunately it's a reoccurring thing. Trump to greet Starmer at Thornsbury for talks on Gaza trade in Iran. Trump turns his round of Gulf mad diplomats into a family affair. And by the way, there was video footage leaked last night on Twitter showing Donald Trump cheating at golf. So, yeah, Donald Trump has been caught cheating at golf now. Younger voters much keener on Corbyn and Starmer. Yep, that's true. Don't need an article to know that one. Starmer will urge Trump to increase pressure on Israel over Gaza. Immigration heightens community tension, most Labour voters believe. British people before boat people. If only they looked outside their own bubbles. Hating your boss is not a mental health condition. I don't think you understand what people are going through. You look like I can't click it because it's a paywall. I'm just going to go out on a limb. This guy here who's saying hating your boss is not. This is someone that's basically telling people who have mental health problems to basically shut up and go back to work, basically. Act on Starmer. Starmer will urge Trump's IDF carries out. Age drops here. Anything else there? Not really. Let's have a quick look at the front of the UK. Demonstrations collapsed at even hotels as protests spread nationwide. Where else are they spreading nationwide? It says they're spreading nationwide. I've not seen in any other. I've been through many. We've just been through a lot of UK other stories. Where else are they spreading? I think if that was the case, you would see it in other papers, and that's not the case. Prison officers use talent on violent inmates. I saw that as well. 5 things Starmer must do to reboot his premiership while he can. Ex-Turnberry worker recreates entire state on Roblox. The Essex locals roaring on Michelle Agnew and their lionesses. Politics stuff which we've seen already. London stuff. A London pub that's been attracting the A-list for 30 years. Awesome. 30 years. Pretty impressive there. Scotland news from the Times. Museum closure warning for cost of politicising gender in toilets. Exam chief receives 85,000 in severance package. Edinburgh University apologising for historic links to race theory. Trump tilts at windmills that ruins view from its golf course. Yeah, he's very mad about the golf courses. Trump is very, very mad about the golf courses, guys. He's very, very angry about them. This is a Telegraph here. And the Neanderthals love to eat maggots. Okay. Lioness is to get parade through London, but no bank holiday. No, why would you get a bank holiday? The only bank they never give bank holidays for us. Essex police boss demands to meet Yvette Cooper over migrant hotel. Yep. Should be telling the Yvette Cooper to get them out of there. US cars and energies to flood Europe as Trump strikes trade deal. Starmer to recall cabinet there. That's what they got there. What else they got here? Rubbish they got. Because this is the Telegraph here. Britain ready to fight over Tehran, Defence Secretary suggests. Okay, sure. Sure they will. Sure they will. Trump attacks probably illegal payment to Beyonce over support for Kamala. What? Probably illegal. Quotations there. That sounds like BS there. 3 people killed in German train crash. My absolute condolences to friends and family who lost loved ones in there. Absolutely terrible. We will burn. Greeks struggles to control raging wildfires. This is every summer now in Greece. Every summer in Greece. I really do feel sorry for people in Greece right now. French submarine maker target by hackers as well. Israeli soldiers and generals are turning their back on Netanyahu over Gaza. Yeah, they are, because they know what's going on. It's too much for them. It's just too much for them. It is way too much for them. Let's have a quick look at Byline Times before we see ourselves out here. Some of the emerging stories here. Some stories from today. Trump's big beautiful bill acting like a ticking time bomb. The parliamentary funding loophole allowing Murdoch to dodge scrutiny. Might look at one of those two maybe later on. University and college students and staff say it's a toxic workplace and they consider a third round of strikes. House of the People's Citizens Assembly provides alternative to UK's far right dissent there. Nigel Farage says he wants to scrap the 2-child benefit cap. There's something he's not telling you. I've done a video on that already, guys. Already done a video on Darren Grimes as well. Reform Council bans all mention of climate change while quietly talking green funds for the government. Already done a video about that as well. So some interesting stuff there from Byline Times there, guys. So guys, I want to say thank you guys for all coming along. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Aston Kier, for the 10 gifted memberships and the super chats today. Really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate all your guys' comments and feedbacks there. Really, really appreciate it. Just a quick rundown, guys. I'll be back tonight at 8 p.m. for Reganelite's Viewpoint. So if you can join me for that show, feel free to do so. We'll have a look and see what some of the latest news is happening this evening in the UK. So we'll probably have some more on Trump and Starmer there. So if you can join me for that, feel free to do so. Good morning show will be at 11 a.m. tomorrow as well. So if you could join me again at 11 o'clock, it'd be greatly appreciated as well. Tomorrow we'll probably look at more global news. So news outside the UK, preferably there is what we'll probably look at. Caught it just in time. Caught it just in time. Just got in there, hand sanitizer, and there. Got a lot of videos to record today. I'm just going to go and have some lunch and then try and get some recordings done for the next couple of days here. Just bear in mind, I've got recordings I'll be trying to get done for Patreon and Rumble as well. It's content that's free to watch, free to look at, guys. By the way, guys, if you scroll down, check out Rumble and Patreon links for them in the description. You don't have to join Patreon, but there are to be a pay. You don't have to be a paid member on Patreon. You can join it for free. There is free content there, so additional content in the UK if you guys want to check out down below as well. And for those who want to financially support but can't financially support me and are struggling yourself, I just want to let you guys know that the best way you can support me in a non-financial way, hitting the like button, sharing this across social media, subscribe if you haven't already, check out some of my other videos, leave comments down below on them. All that kind of stuff really helps boost the algorithm for the channel. I'd like to get to 2,500 subscribers by the end of this year. Initially I wanted 3,000, but that target's not possible because we are not getting the subscriber count is quite low has been low for a few months. So if you're not a subscriber and you do find the content interesting, informative and helpful, please consider subscribing. Really would be greatly appreciated, guys. So enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you guys are doing. Take care of yourselves as always. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.